Welcome back to the Indie Basketball Podcast. This is where indie rock meets the NBA's finest. Today's guest, I have Kevin Duquette, who is the founder of Topshelf Records. Such a fan of that label, and he is here because they are celebrating their 20th anniversary as a label, which he seems to be pushing off to be more of a 25th anniversary down the line. But super stoked to have him on. He's a Celtics fan. We have a great conversation. We really kind of nerd out about the Celtics in the East and what's going on, and it's a great talk. I think you'll really enjoy it. But first, let's talk some new music, and I got two releases that I want to talk about. First is a release by an artist named Claire Osman. She has an album called Always Loving Somewhere. And I'm really digging it. It's super raw. It's very soulful. It has that sort of like, very minimalist kind of soulful tone, a little somber, that clean electric guitar. Just like it really rings and it feels very powerful. But it's really paired with this booming, expressive voice that I really enjoy. It's something that reminds me a bit of a Squirrel Flower kind of tone, where like these really emotive, sentimental, impactful lyrics kind of in a really polished voice comes out paired with this really kind of clean, and I think soulful is the best way to describe it, guitar. The tone just is so nice. It's very clean, and it really stands out. It's such a beautiful pairing, and even I say it's very minimal in that sense, but sometimes there's tracks on this album that pick up the energy, and her voice kind of shifts into a way that, while keeping that big polish, it becomes more fun and more boppy. It's a fun album. So check that one out. It's called Always Living Somewhere. The second release I want to talk about is from Cutworms, and the album is called Transmitter. I have been a huge Cutworms fan. He really nails that vintage sound. Nobody Lives Here Anymore is seriously one of my all-time favorite folk albums. When I first heard that, I could not stop listening to it. And I think what I love about him so much is that he sounds so authentically lost in time, and it's never feels forced. I do really enjoy someone like the Lemon Twigs, but sometimes it feels like they are doing cosplay of that era. But Cutworms truly feels like that era was moved to now, and it still feels modern, but it still feels old. He has that, crooning sort of Bob Dylan type voice, and it just sounds like silk to me. The album's another good hit, and I feel like, I'm still kind of exploring that one, but I really love how he managed to transcend that vintage sound. Whereas that album I talked about, Nobody Lives Here Anymore, has that more Bob Dylan-y kind of almost protest song sort of vibe. The album after that, he starts to go in more of these sort of like, not quite Motown, a little Motown sounding, but like golden oldies sort of vibe. And now he's again kind of moving into like almost these different vintage genres that are coming to the forefront, and it's just a really enjoyable listen. He's such a talented songwriter. Those are two releases that I think you should check out. I'm really enjoying them. Definitely got more to check out, but those are the releases I wanted to talk about. So I will not waste any more time, and then we'll get right into it. You can enjoy my conversation with Kevin from Top Shelf. Enjoy. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I'm super excited to have this.
Yeah, likewise. I have been like following along. I'm not a big podcast guy, but I like the convergence is undeniable now at this point, and I'm I'm gonna listen. So it's you made it in the rotation, which is to say, the podcast that I download to my phone and listen to in sequence for a duration of a flight, and then I go 6 months without hearing anything, and then so
what's funny is I have a podcast, but I rarely listen to them. Okay. I have two maybe, and it's the same situation where I have a flight. That's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah. I
Um,
recently have gone into listening to them while running. I didn't
oh,
think I could do
interesting.
it. Like I think I needed like either silence or like motivating music or whatever at a
Sure.
specific BPM threat, and I decided that actually just people talking is really nice.
Do you like almost forget you're running?
Yeah, I can get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's like I don't know. It's like mentally I just go to like, oh, I'm sitting on the couch drinking high life like and chilling with some buds.
Right.
And I'm like,
And I've tried to do it while I'm working, and it's just like, oh
no, no,
man,
no, no, no.
10 minutes just passed. I don't know what you said.
Yeah, I can't do that one. Um, a lot of my favorite music is like instrumental. I don't know
Yeah,
lyrics
yeah,
to songs and stuff, and it's for reasons like that. My brain is like, notice you're trying to do two things at once, and like we're
yeah.
just not gonna allow that. Uh,
Well, I'm flattered you listen. Obviously, I'm sure it helps too that I've had a few of your artists on the podcast before
yeah,
too.
yeah. I made sure to kind of go through, did a deep dive, found some friends, lots of
Hmm.
overlap with I think our
Yeah, totally.
network and worlds and stuff. So yeah, dabbled here and there.
I'm awesome. Yeah, I mean, so I mean the a big reason you're here is not just because you are at that perfect intersection, but it's the 20th anniversary of Top Shelf Records. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. As of last month, it kind of came and went
Yeah.
unceremoniously as things tend to do when you're just, I don't know, in the moment, always like
Yeah.
doing the thing. It's not like I didn't see it coming, linear time, whatever.
Right.
But I'm like ever marching forward. And I'm just kind of like, I remember last year we started planning like a coffee table book and all these different things. And it got to like a half a year out. And I was like, I know even what like the timeline for like just putting out a record is. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is not enough. And so I kind of just punted it to 25-year anniversary, which is way cooler sounding also, like
Sure.
you do something for like 1/5 of a century and everyone's like, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
what even you kind of have to do the math in your head a little bit. Like what even number is that? You say a quarter century and it's like, wow, that it
But
just
it's a nice even number. I mean,
yeah,
also if you follow the logic of like when bands are doing album anniversaries, it's really pick any year you want.
sure. Yeah. I've been telling
um,
people uh like that shit doesn't matter. I don't feel like I think you can make up any reason, and honestly
yeah,
if it isn't an actually compelling reason it's funnier to me and then you have
right.
something. um yeah.
So does it feel like it's been 2 years, or does it feel like it's been 50 years?
Yeah, it feels like I don't have a memory of not doing this,
Yeah,
and I also am like when I really it's sort of like when you go into your photos view in your phone and like it shows you everything like in the grid like really really small,
yeah,
and but you can pinch and zoom in and get further and further,
right, right.
enhance, and like when I sit and think about things, and especially when I like hang out with someone who was very maybe active in the label's history but like in the early days or something, and
Yeah,
I haven't talked to in a while or whatever, it just unlodges all kinds of memories.
totally.
And I'm like, whoa, I haven't thought about that. That was like there are several memory boxes stored in front of that door. I forgot
Yeah,
there's even a door there. And you just unlock so much crazy shit. And yeah, and then you start to realize like, wow, yeah, there's a lot of lore that like only really I
yeah.
give a shit about, but there's still like
I
a,
mean, no,
it feels like no time at all, and it also feels
yeah,
like eternity. Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
bet. And I mean, so like super stoked to have you on because honestly, Top Shelf is. I mean, you guys have had so many artists that I love. Over the years. That obviously I'm good friends at Rat Boys. Big fan of like Another Michael. Really from Moving Mountains is like one of my all time
Oh,
favorites.
okay, yeah, right on.
Um, so yeah, you guys you've had quite the catalog over the years, and I know not everyone is still active, but like, is it crazy to see some of the bands that you've had like kind of like even not no longer on your label, like to see kind of what they've gone on to do?
For sure. Yeah. I guess most notably and most recently, like with Rap Boys, that is just,
Yeah.
I mean, I've sort of just been like near day zero on that. Just I'm like, I'm always hitching my car to that train. It's just
Yeah.
so good, and their heads and hearts are in it. They're and they don't stop. And so many people believe in what they're doing, but so do they. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so cool to watch. This is the first time I'm not like directly part of it or
Yeah.
whatever. And so,
Yeah.
but like, so I don't really, it's cool. Like a single goes up. I'm like, cool. This is like
Yeah.
first time in a minute where I like didn't know that was happening like 3 months
Sure.
in advance or whatever. And so, and I didn't listen to the album at first. It was nice. They surprised. They just mailed me a copy with a little note from
Nice.
Sean, and I played it. That was the first time I did like a real playthrough though, and yeah, it's I crushed it. They're just
Yeah.
continuing on this crazy trajectory, and that's so
For
nice
real.
to
Yeah.
watch. And there's bands, of course, that like break up, and there's all kinds of woulda, coulda, shouldas
Sure.
that abounds. But I mean, the whole time it's just sort of I'd put out every record that we put out, regardless of the results. It's just sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe in it musically, and I like the people, and that's that's enough. Yeah.
Do you do you find that, say after an artist kind of goes switches to a different label, do you find yourself like kind of like being a cheerleader for them, or are you kind of like it's hard to listen to?
There's some circumstances that you'd like not like you wouldn't want to see. I don't know, a label go like there's your own ego in the way of that
Sure,
too,
of
that
course.
complicates it, I guess. But I always want to see someone move on in a way that feels like a positive trajectory for them too.
Yeah.
Um, and at its core, at its essence, there's a record label is like a steward of art and culture, and like
Yeah.
but you're also you're curating this thing. You're but like and but it is through the vector and like through the framework of just like, oh right, we gotta make money with this thing
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
for it to make sense. And so there ends up being like kind of difficult decisions sometimes where it's like I gotta pass on this, or I can't do this,
Mm-hmm.
even though I would like to, and that's where it can be you sort of sideline yourself sometimes,
Sure.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and sometimes that's just somebody made a choice and they're like, hey, not this, we're gonna go elsewhere or whatever. I don't feel like I have any like bad relationships with anyone that we've worked with, which is
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
cool. I mean, things, it's navigating hundreds of interpersonal dynamics is a lot. Like all my
Yeah.
social media bios just say thanks/sorry, and that's sort
Yeah.
of generally my sentiment because I'm just like, I'm doing the best I can. There's a
Uh,
lot of people I'm always trying to make happy. A lot of people hitting me up, and there's I'm trying to even just show up for like my partner and my family and stuff sometimes, and
yeah, of course.
but I feel maxed out a lot of the time. But I'm also deep like anytime I'm like finding myself in this place of like overwhelm of just um the interpersonal
Hmm.
uh mind palace that I have to navigate of just like remembering everyone and everything. I'm like, what a unique privilege though, and it's like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's so awesome having
Yeah.
all these
And
relationships.
that's what I was mentioning is like there are like the roster is quite large. Like there
Yeah.
are a lot of artists on the label.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any like artists that maybe seems like you're looking back, you're like, man, we were talking to them. I can't believe we almost signed them, but they went on to do something else. In retrospect, is there any bands that you're like, man, what if they ended up signing with us?
I mean, tons, but you know, it's also I think every label probably has many versions of that. And who knows,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't be in people's heads to go like, how serious was that or whatever.
for sure.
Um, and it's interesting too, because like certain things not coming to pass open other doors for you.
Yeah,
There's certain things where I'm like, I wish we got the chance to do that, but I try and take the approach of in the moment, I'm like, down bad. I'm like not having a good time.
Yeah.
And like working in music is not for the faint of heart. There's so many like roller coaster like elated highs, and like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's and those are harder to work towards and easier to forget. And then the lows just are so you could just be there without even trying. And
Hmm.
there's some days where I'm just like, dude, I just gotta shut. I just gotta, I don't want to be here anymore. In this, and like,
I mean, dude, that's like any job, right? Like you gotta just like work through it and like almost separate it sometimes. But like, I'm sure there's the overwhelming positive moments that
yeah,
you remind of why you do it.
yeah, like seeing, I don't know. You mentioned another Michael in one moment. I remember seeing them play. We did this show in Austin at like one of the college co-ops there, for around like South by Southwest when that was more of a
Hmm.
thing. And I think it was like the year before COVID, like 2019 or 2018 or something like that. And they played this set, and it was like sort of like the first time I'd seen them as like this full band, like with this
Yeah.
all these arrangements figured out and everyone playing them independently, and like and rather than it had expanded beyond just like
Yeah. Yeah.
this solo kind of recording project, and watching it just like explode to life in a live setting was, and they only played to like, it was like 150 people in this room, but like
Hmm.
everyone was all in on this moment, and
Yeah.
it was beautiful. Really, really, really exceptional songwriting and performers, everyone
Awesome.
associated with that project. Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about Sown? If I'm
Yeah,
saying that
yeah,
right.
yeah. Cool. Uh, yeah, that's a nonprofit. I wasn't even aware you were hip to that. I started a nonprofit a couple years ago, and the whole point of that is really to, um, well, I started it with the mindset of needing a framework to govern other things that we've been building, like and I mean like me and a handful of friends, mostly online, but like a lot of people involved in like DIY music communities and stuff.
Hmm.
um and we've been working on this thing called Tone, and it's a music listening service. So there's, we're building a streaming component, we're building a download component. There's like subscriptions. You'd be able to
Cool.
post, publish stuff. The hope is that it would be something like how people are using Substack currently. Heyday of like Tumblr's feed,
Hmm.
like a chronological, non-algorithmic feed. And then, you know, sort of democratizing what uh Bandcamp Daily has, or like what you
Yeah.
see if you're familiar with Discogs Digs, just or like really any editorial component to like any of these services where they are, writers and freelancers and stuff are all publishing stuff about music or whatever, but it's sort of like a
Hmm.
one-way channel. There's like no way for, like, I just think that Bandcamp should open up that same tool set for everyone with a Bandcamp
Sure.
profile, and I should be able to like post about and write about music that I like or whatever, or just share it, or just shit post. I don't know, and
Yeah.
just post stuff. And yeah, so we're looking at it as like a place where right now it's like, we'll see what people make of it or whatever. But we're building this thing, and then like, as we work on it and once we launch it, there'll need to be this like entity that sort of oversees it and governs it, because it's,
Hmm.
we're running that as, we're going to open source the code, and it's going to be uh, uh, Tone is a member owned co-op, and then Sown is a nonprofit with a elected board and everything that oversees it. There's a few board members that we picked up from the start that are like just sort of grabbed from around North America, who are like involved in DIY music communities,
Hmm.
spread out all across the country. And um yeah, so but the hope is that like that'll be more emergent over time, where people will sort of get interested and want to serve in that capacity. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds
Um,
awesome. Is Tone kind of like this? It's almost like a online total community of like kind of just like what you're up to musically.
yeah, I mean, again, like that's what I'm designing it for with people,
Sure.
and but we'll see
Could
how
evolve.
people
Yeah.
use it. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm hoping it can be sort of like a digital zine kind of thing. I want people
Yeah.
to like be thinking like publishing on it, but it also could be like short form stuff.
Hmm.
The goal definitely being like people subscribing and following things and engaging with stuff, music, sharing music with each other.
Yeah.
There's no algorithms, there's no AI, anything. There's no anything other than just like similar to how like Discogs or
Hmm.
how rate your music works, where just it's all just everything. I mean, Wikipedia, great examples of just like things I look to on the internet and go, this is great because a bunch of people came together to like make this
Sure.
gigantic network of information around just things that we're all hyped on.
It seems like even a little Patreon, except not like retrofitted into like Patreon was never made for musicians, but like they retrofitted musicians into it to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like
And there was
support
an
me.
attempt at a music specific Patreon called Ampled, and they were trying to run
Okay.
it as a worker owned co-op. Ultimately it kind of sputtered out, but like I'm taking, inspiration from a lot of things that have,
Cool.
projects like this that have started, stopped, but
Hmm.
it feels like the moment's right. I don't think anyone's like, I think sentiment towards Bandcamp is like slowly warming again, gradually over time, but like
Sure.
I still feel pretty betrayed and like don't trust it as this large entity to do the right thing long term.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't like the premise that we should be made to trust these corporate monoliths.
Hmm.
Like why is it that there needs to be alternatives? I think the future of the internet is further and further fragmentation. Um, we need to get away from like these mega corporations
Yeah.
uh, leeching things, and they will buy up all. As things fracture, they'll buy things up into their own ecosystem and absorb it all. But I do think where things are going with like somebody shows me some like niche internet community like every day. And like I learned about
Such
NeoCities.
as.
Yeah, right, right. But again, like this is published to, your Apple Musics, your
Hmm.
Spotify's,
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
I just think we need more options. Uh,
Even like I have a pretty solid community like through Discord, but even Discord at that sense, it's like it's beginning to be hard to kind of trust Discord when they're requiring age verification and like all that sort of stuff. It's
which
just weird.
let's call that what it is. It's not like we're not complying with any government
Yeah,
mandate or anything, which would also suck. But
it's just
like,
data.
yeah, it's just data points.
Yeah,
Another, I need. Anyway,
it's a struggle. It's a struggle, man. But you know what? Like you're in the end of the day, like you are an independent label who is putting music out to the world for people to listen to,
you
and
got to go where
that's
the
like you're
people
doing
are.
all you can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I guess diving into a couple of the kind of artists currently on your roster, and I mentioned this to you. I'd like to do sort of a little kind of association game where I'll name a top shelf artist, and you tell me who is like the NBA comp, who is the equivalent, and I like to do this as a way of like maybe this is a really indirect way of recommending an artist to someone who hasn't heard them.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So, like
So
like a specific player to an artist.
yeah, so like let's start with Paranormal. Like what NBA player is Paranormal, and like I guess kind of give the reason for like why they kind of match up that way.
Hmm. Gotta think like who's like like a student of the game, but like just like we're there to score, or actually to it's like I feel like it's like Jokic maybe actually, where like I'm not even 100% sure all the time that like they enjoy all aspects of the music making
Yeah.
experience, and to that end, like, it's like there's no real social media presence or like they don't like so much of it, but they just want to
Right.
like obviously Jokic likes basketball, that you don't get to that level
Sure.
without, I mean, what is that? It's a life of suffering otherwise.
Yeah.
But, and in the same way that like Paranol likes making music and then
Yeah.
I think hates everything else about it. And just, I don't know what they're like going back to their horses is, but like,
Right. Yeah.
we're more looking towards that when we're not like playing music.
But I feel like there's also like the connection of like they're just like there's something in the brains, the way they see the game, like in such like a mathy technical way that they break it down.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like some no look passing going on there. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I actually feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah, that's good. And I feel like people also like fans of Paranol are like they are like such nerds. Like they nerd out about them like hard. And the same with Jokic. Like people love to be like, he's the greatest modern basketball player, the greatest of all time already. And like people just like go nuts because the advanced numbers.
Yeah, because you're certainly not necessarily deriving that from the highlight reel.
The Paranol analytics are off the charts.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. So the second on the list would be Subsonic Eye, who I'm a huge fan of. They are such a fun band, man.
Okay. Fun. I agree. It's like a Jeff Teague situation, maybe.
Jeff Teague. Oh wow.
Where
they're gonna get into podcasting.
Yeah, they've been around. And they've been doing it for a minute. They kind of know everybody secretly, and like, they are definitely goofing around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they're all something about them is like they're also kind of having like a. It's like they're finding a new audience. They're new to a lot of people right now.
Yeah, cool.
And I feel like there is something about that, which. I mean, maybe I'm trying to think if there's someone other than Jeff Teague, but I feel like the vet presence is totally spot on.
Yeah, I'm thinking of them too as like just like they're goofing around all the time.
Yeah. And Ant Edwards is too young, but like that personality.
Yeah. We don't have like the competitiveness though going on there.
True. That's true. They're just having a fun time.
Yeah.
That's fun. Can't wait for the Subsonic Eye podcast. It's going to be great.
It would be really good.
What about Sobs?
Sobs. Okay, so share a member. So there's some kind of like fabric, a little bit of overlap in that. Sobs. Also, we're having fun.
Who is a teammate of Jeff Teague?
Well, I mean, like everyone in the NBA, pretty much.
Yeah, right. I'm looking back at the Hawks team that he was on. Like, they're not quite a Josh Smith.
No. Sobs.
Is it the Lou Williams, like the sixth man kind of comparative?
But it's like big, and we're going for like. I gotta think about this. It's like a small package with a big. I'm like Nate Robinson.
Okay. Yeah.
Huge pop bangers is like the equivalent of like the dunk metaphor.
Yeah. Definitely big personality.
Yeah. It's an or like. I'm a Celtics fan, so like I'm like maybe this is Isaiah Thomas or something. We're overperforming, we're not in a bad way, in a way that exceeds what you think your expectations ought to be about this.
That's good. Isaiah Thomas is pretty good too. Punching above their weight is kind of what you're going for.
There it is. Okay. I'm like, there's a turn of phrase for this. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, the last one on the list I had is Peel Dream Magazine.
Peel Dream. Also kind of a student of the game.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
We're just like sitting back and
There's levels to them.
yeah. This could be like like a Dirk or Tim Duncan comes to mind, where I'm like,
yeah, fundamentals.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know why, but spiritually it just is. You're right. Fundamentals is why. Prolific, just
Yeah.
getting all the hardware.
Yeah, Peel Dream Magazine is accepting the MVP trophy wearing cargo shorts.
Yeah. I think it's Timmy on that one.
That's pretty good.
Or it's like not even can a coach be a player? Because I'd say maybe even Pop.
Ooh, that's a very high compliment.
Yeah, I mean it.
That's not a student of the game. That's a teacher of the game.
Yeah, but a real teacher of the game remains a student.
That's true. Always in it. I love that. Thanks for putting those together. It's like, honestly though, it's a silly way to kind of make a recommendation to a band, but like in the process, you're describing what they're all about.
Yeah, yeah. There's a quiet confidence to the Peel Dream Magazine catalog that Tim Duncan fans will love.
Yeah, there's honestly that last album they put out. There's so much like Sufjanisms in that album that I love so much.
I was telling people it was like if there was like a Stereolab and like Stereolab meets like Age of Ads era Sufjan specifically.
Totally hear that.
Yeah,
love it.
Kind of. I mean, I hit play on it the first time, and I was like already drafting an email, just sort of like, okay, obviously we're doing this. This is incredible.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so again, you are on this because also you're a basketball fan, and you said you're a Celtics fan.
Yeah. I grew up in Massachusetts,
and that's where you started the label, right? Mm-hmm. You've spanned the globe a little bit. Has any of your fandom transferred to Portland?
I would say in that, like, for any sport, I always allow myself this indulgence of, like, you're allowed to have one team from each conference that you can be a fan of. And so, I was like, well, this is fine. And then, more recently, there's, we got Time Lord over here. There's Drew Holiday's in the mix. Anthony Simons went to the Celtics in that, and all of a sudden there was a lot of team. I miss him, but I was sort of like, this is so extra. But there's a lot of I don't know, a lot to like about the Blazer squad. I love an underdog, and for so much of my like childhood, like every Boston sports team across the board just stunk out loud. And I was sitting, the Celtics, and I was too young. I was like in diapers shitting myself when they were winning all those championships. And then once I came of age to like care about or know about anything, they just like stunk out loud through the 90s.
Yeah, sure.
And Reggie Lewis was like my favorite player when I was like 7 years old, and then, it was just a bummer time to be a Celtics fan in the 90s. And, I just, so it's been cool in the 2000s, being a sports fan of the Boston sports
you guys have had a little bit of success.
Yeah. That part's cool, but it was rough going in the early days.
I guess, tell me more about kind of growing up a Celtics fan. Like when was like, do you remember the moment it kind of like sunk its teeth into you?
Well, I think there's so many, like if you were born in the 80s or came of age like in the 90s, you probably had a starter jacket, and and then percentage-wise, you just probably maybe had a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket for some reason.
It's always the Hornets, man.
Yeah, I like the logo.
It's the starter jackets, and there's NBA Jam, and that's because they had a solid NBA Jam team, and that's what you got into.
Right.
Same with the Sonics.
Right. My brother liked the Sonics, and just I was like, well, then I'm not gonna, so I went with the Hornets because the Celtics, like, I was like, this isn't cool. This
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah.
And but I got gifted my neighbor gave me, like, the members, like a coach's jacket, the like silken
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a nice
yeah.
collar. I wish I still had that. It was too big
It's
for me.
kind of got like Mitchell and Ness sells them all the time now, right? Like those
Yeah.
sort of like with the cuffed kind of sleeve. Yeah,
So tasteful. Really nice jacket.
beautiful.
No idea what I did with that or what happened to it or whatever. And I was like, this is whack. I'm gonna get a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
You zip it up, and your fingers just smell like that metal, from the little starter zip.
Yeah. And I would like chew on the zipper. It's so bad for your
Oh yeah,
little
yeah.
kid teeth. But yeah, I had that, and I remember getting like everyone in my orbit would like every adult, they would just like casually kind of shame you for why should be
Right.
why isn't that a Celtics jacket, huh? And
Especially in Boston.
yeah. And so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I like, I can like both of them. And they're like, no, the fuck you can't.
Right.
And so eventually, once I got a little older, I was sort of like, I think what did it was, I was able to get the local, I don't know, there's like broadcast rights or whatever. There's Nesson carrying Bruins hockey and Red Sox baseball. I forget. I think it's like Comcast Sportsnet. If you had Comcast, you just got that channel on the basic cable. Like I didn't have cable hooked up to my TV, but so I just got like ABC and NBC, I think, carried the games or whatever. So, and it was around like when Paul Pierce, like like we're talking like 2099 to like 2001, 2 or so, where like Antoine Walker, Paul Pierce, and all of a sudden we're clearly not going to beat the Nets, but maybe we could, and like, and like, yes, we would have the opportunity to lose to the Lakers. Yeah. And so, but I started to be like, oh, I like this team. I like what they're doing. They're fun. And so I kind of switched over, I guess, and was like, you know what? The home team, let's go. And yeah.
Easier to do also than when you get KG and then you're like, all right, yeah, all aboard.
Yeah, right. No, I was already on board at that point. And again, they started to like suck bad again all through like, I don't know, like 05 to 2007 was bad, really bad basketball.
Yeah.
But 08 was fun. 08 was real fun.
Yeah, it was a good team. It was tough for me as a Bulls fan, but we had some good matchups.
I mean, some of my favorite playoff series
were so good.
Yeah.
And it got tense. I remember. I think it was like was it Rondo pushing Heinrich into the scorers table?
Yeah. Wow. I forgot about that. But
crazy moment.
No, it got feisty.
And I'm not bitter about it because it was a good series. That's what you wanted. I think Brad Miller had like a crazy. He was like bleeding from the mouth. It got
Noah
intense.
would always. What's his name? Joakim Noah.
Joakim Noah.
Yeah. He would always go like insano mode against the Celtics. Yeah. I was like, this dude's not
he would
good.
do the thing. He would get the rebound and he's pushing the ball up as like the goofy big man that he is, like trying to push the ball up, and he loved doing it. Always doing the finger guns too.
Of everyone on the team, I was like, I can't hate Derrick Rose. I'm gonna hate Joakim. Joakim was his first. Joakim Noah.
Joakim Noah.
Yeah. I hated that guy.
He's the exact guy who's like, you only like him if he's on your team.
Yeah, right on. I get it. And as I've aged, I have like more of this like fully. I don't even know. I sort of am just like, damn, I love basketball.
Yeah, man.
And so
it is such like a. I'm getting older. It's time to get more into basketball. And it's like that's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm not even fighting it. There's no friction. I'm just like wherever that's taking me. I'm like, yep.
It's just like it's such a fun thing to get into, and to like it's such a fun conversation piece, honestly. And it's just that's why I love basketball. It's just like I love I love the stories. It's theatrical.
Yeah, totally.
Do you do March Madness at all?
I kind of do, but like I like watching the games, not knowing shit about shit. It's just fun. Sure. I can't keep up with that, and I'm like, I think that's another level of fandom that I'm like, I could see why it would be really cool to follow some players like through that trajectory and then, know
Right.
who they are when they get into NBA. But yeah, otherwise I would say it's not something I'm paying attention to.
That's really the only reason I watch is like I want to know who's going to be in the draft.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like admittedly, I'm always sort of just like, I guess, like I didn't
It's a
know.
scouting report, yeah.
Uh-huh. Like I
But I do remember last year because I don't really watch much either. But I remember like seeing VJ Edgecombe and he was like, man, he's killing it, and now he's killing it for the Sixers. So
Yeah, yeah. That's surprising, and it's always fun to like match up against another team. Like I watch if I don't watch the game live, I always watch the like NBA
yeah,
like 15-minute like highlight
for sure.
afterwards. And there's some dudes where I'm like, yo, who?
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
How you? Go ahead.
I forget. The Lakers picked up this dude. I forget. He wears 12. I forget his name.
Is it Austin Reeves?
No, no, no. He's like an Austin
That's
Reeves clone.
AR-15. Yeah.
But
Oh, I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
there's like one of his first games, or that I heard about him anyway. Lakers fans.
Jake LaRavia, is that what you're talking about?
I guess.
Or is it Dalton Knecht?
No, not Necht.
Okay.
It must be the former there. But like somebody yelled on. There's like a highlight where somebody just in the audience I guess he was having an insane game. Like maybe a triple double or something, and just somebody unstoppable, and somebody in the stands like from like the home crowd just yells out like, "Who is number 12?" And the whole crowd just like erupted, and everyone on the court's laughing because this dude's just balling out of control. And I feel like that guy sometimes watching like, yo, who,
Yeah, yeah.
But that part's fun of it too.
There's a lot. There's so many people in the NBA. There's so much talent in the NBA, and it's really kind of hard to keep track because some of these people like are so good and they're in the G League. But now, I don't know if you saw that they officially announced that they're doing the expansion.
I did hear we're going at 32.
Which they're going to vote on it, I think, next week, and it would be Seattle and it would be Vegas.
Which has me feeling better about as a Blazers fan because, here I'm just a fan of that staying in Portland.
Yeah,
especially for just don't take away that from this city, please.
Right.
I see so many people where I'm like, they're like, that would break them. And
oh yeah,
there's like.
Was that ever a discussion?
It kind of is right now because the team just crazy. Sold and like ownership is like in these negotiations, and it's pretty really loud and clear that like Seattle wants a team again. And I don't know this is the part of it where it's like you're like prying up the rock and looking at like all the you're like, oh, this is like the underbelly of this whole thing. It's kind of like with any sport, or I guess like when you're talking like
For
hundreds
sure.
of millions of dollars of like public money going towards a stadium, and it's like not like that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean, at least with Seattle, you would hope they would use the awesome stadium they already have in Climate Pledge Arena because, like, just I don't see why they wouldn't go back to that because the Kraken play there, and it's a really nice stadium.
But
yeah.
Probably not for some reason,
There's taxpayer money to be taken.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and we're certainly doing that here. But I don't really know. Like, I'm not really hip to the economics of it all, but I do think that there's another way, but it just sucks because they just like dangle it and hold the whole entire city and really region like hostage with I could move this,
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what happened with Seattle. He's like, I'm gonna move it. But I mean, Portland is potentially in talks to get a baseball team too.
Yeah, it's right by us.
That's been talked about.
Topshelf just moved into this building here, and we're just across. I run by this down this bridge like a few times a week, and it's overlooking. If it happens, it'll be beautiful. Right now, it's just a big dirt lot on the side of the river downtown.
But that's like they have like a theoretical site where the stadium would go.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's like not even Yeah, well, who knows what was there? I don't really know. But since
Yeah,
the whole time I've been in Portland, it has just been a dirt lot and a
sure.
really, really big dirt lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's public transit there and everything. Yeah, our Max, the train line goes there. There's really good
And
infrastructure to support um, there's even like an air tram over there. What do you call
and
that?
that'd be cool. I think that like Oregon loves baseball.
Yeah,
Like
we
the
got the pickles.
college baseball is really good. Oh yeah, you got the pickles too.
The culture around the pickles here is so fun.
Yeah.
Speedy Ortiz played and like opened a pickles game one time.
Awesome.
They had a day where they do a thing where if you're first, they just pick a name at random, and there was a
Hmm.
Kevin day. Like if your name's Kevin, then you get in for free today. And it's like entry is like $12 anyway, so whatever. But
Sick.
I'm like, nice.
Nice.
Pickles games are fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
But they're not playing
So with
basketball out there. So
yeah, yeah. With the Celtics, I
yeah,
mean, are you still kind of keeping up with the team right now?
definitely. And I'll be real. I went into this season, I was like, they're gonna overperform. I know this team. I was like, they're actually gonna do really well. And
Yeah.
what's happening right now is like, to be real, and I think a lot of Celtics fans would say this, and this is also just like, shut up, fucking asshole Celtics fan, but also like, I'm like, this is where I expected this team to be for real.
Yeah.
And if you asked Jaylen Brown that, he would have said that at the first day of the season and right now, because that man is way too confident. But like, that's kind of what you want. Um, but I think a lot of people look at like the younger guys and sort of all the backups there, and it's not like we're getting more than expected out of some. Like I knew that Pritchard could be, could
Sure.
run point in a starting rotation for sure. And like a lot of times I'm like, that's actually kind of, he comes in and I love it when he starts because it's just like, he brings an energy to it where it's like,
Energy. Yeah.
but I love him like coming in and taking over in the second half of the game. And he just puts up
I
like,
also feel like Jaylen Brown kind of like was almost relishing this season to be like, all right, I'm the guy this year.
I love that we lost the Spurs game and the OKC game back to back in like pretty close nail biter fashion, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I love that we lost those with a little bit of uncertainty. JB ejection and Tatum and White not playing in the OKC game at all. And I was sort of like, now like the seed is planted, like exactly what you want. These dudes like thrive when people doubt them and when there's a chip on their shoulder. And I'm like,
Sure.
this rocks. Because maybe it's Denver, but I'm like, I can't imagine coming out of the West, it isn't like one of those two or Denver.
Yeah. I mean, to see the Spurs like kind of do what they're doing is like it's cool to watch, honestly.
Yeah.
Just to see Wemby play like that. I mean, dude's an anomaly.
And also off the court, I'm like, I love this dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Every response he has in like a post game interview, I'm like, that's like the coolest thing you could have possibly said in that situation.
Uh-huh. It's like he's
And he like throws shade like casually.
it's getting less casual, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's
here
true.
for it. Like you're a few years in now. It's not like, he's I think paid his dues a little bit and everyone's like, damn, all right,
Yeah.
this dude's for real. And like, I think you can talk like Westbrook's ability to talk shit is sort of like, it's not like he's not like putting up a triple double every day now. Now it's just sort of like,
No,
oh,
right.
okay, grandma, like what? But like, so there's levels to this, but like, he's absolutely just like, stop me. And it's like, yeah, all right, you're right.
So within the East, I mean, how do you feel about the Celtics kind of faring? I mean, the Knicks and obviously the Pistons are like the big threats.
Right. And I will throw Charlotte in there too. I'm actually really scared of Charlotte.
Which isn't that crazy?
I love it. It's long overdue. I think they're just finally clicking. I've thought that team was like underperforming for like the last year or two. Getting what's Knuppel?
Yeah, I mean he's insane.
Yeah, I hadn't really seen They remind me of OKC on defense,
Mm, okay.
where, and I don't get to see OKC that often without intentionally tuning into some of their games. And honestly, it's just spiritually, I don't like them.
Yeah.
So I like their fan base kind
people
of.
have turned very quickly.
Yeah, I never did. I really
Yeah.
like them. Even when it was like the Westbrook, Harden, like KD era, I was like, you know what? I would love to see the Blazers beat them, and yeah, et cetera, et cetera. And like, I was glad
Was,
that Golden State even beat
was
them.
it a subconscious grudge of leaving Seattle?
I'm just like, it should Oklahoma shouldn't Oklahoma City. No offense, like great that they have a team for any sport, but I'm like,
Right.
it's upsetting the way that I'm like,
Yeah.
Seattle just had it taken from them.
Just fell in their lap. Yeah.
Yeah, and then to have a team of this also happened, complete other sport or whatever, but I was a major Quebec Nordiques fan. Um, and the same thing kind of happened to them. They're like, yeah, this isn't really working up here. We're gonna move it to Colorado, and then boom, championship. And it like you hate to see an expansion team just instantly transcend
Yeah.
the lull that they had where they were and just become great overnight. And I'm
Mhm.
sure everyone in Seattle was just like, what the fuck? I felt for him.
Well, also just to like, oh, sweet, we just drafted Kevin Durant. We just drafted Russell Westbrook. Gone.
Yeah.
Like technically, Westbrook was drafted by the Sonics, but they moved that year.
Insane.
Crazy.
But that's not even why. I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Just don't like them.
Yeah. Just bad vibes for the Thunder.
Yeah. But
So-
everybody has that with, like, I know the Celtics are that for so many people. LA is that for so
Sure.
many people. But yeah.
Yeah. So for, we've talked about Wemby a little bit, and then, Shea. With these, what do you think about like the kind of MVP rules? And because it feels like right now, Wemby, Luka, Jokic, and Shea, but they're very close to being eliminated because of the eligibility for games played. How do you feel about that rule?
No, I'm cool with that.
You are cool with it.
Yeah. I think
I feel like Cade might be the MVP now.
which good. I think
Okay, yeah, fair.
if you look at those other teams, I think they're probably like you're only losing like 15 wins or whatever if those
Sure.
players are not. If Detroit loses Kate Cunningham, then I don't. They're like a play-in, like
That's true.
buffer play-in kind of team. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's what. And same. I'm like, Cade and JB are like not even in the conversation really.
Mhm.
And I'm like, to be honest, if you could weight this around whatever kind of advanced metrics, I guess you would see, like, I think it would be a little eye-opening where, like, there was a stretch where a lot of these, like, MVP contenders were out, and it's like, look at their team's win-loss records, and they're actually doing pretty okay.
Yeah. Well, it's the classic argument of like, is MVP best player or is it the most valuable to their team? And I mean,
Yeah.
it does feel like it has become in the past 10, 15 years the best player award.
And I'm saying this even as, like, when there's been talk of, like, Tatum being in that conversation in the past, I'm like, no. This dude is not the most valuable player. No offense, he's putting up crazy numbers and, like, he's really undeniably good. But I'm also, as a Celtics fan too, I really am like, damn, when there's a big moment, sometimes this team, like in the last maybe 5-6 years, we're making Eastern Conference Finals and stuff, but like, this team doesn't show up sometimes in the big moment, and I'm like, you don't have that problem with Shea, you don't have that problem with Jokic and some of these other guys, and we'll see. That's always a concern of mine, and like kind of to your point of like in the East, I'm like, the Knicks all of a sudden got some playoff swagger, and that's going to carry over from. I mean, sure, a lot can happen in the NBA in like 2 minutes or whatever, but that game when he like tore his Achilles on that play or whatever, the Knicks were clearly winning that game and winning the series. The whole they were only down like 10 with like 2.5 minutes or something like that
Yeah.
left, and it's like anything can happen, and Tracy McGrady like whatever 14 points in like 30 seconds, but I'm like we
Yeah.
were losing that game, and there's I think there's just like so many Celtics moments of like the big, even like Golden State, I think it was like 2022, had
Mhm.
not no business. You have Steph Curry, you got, that's kind of like an unlock, but I'm like they shouldn't have won that series. Like Boston was the
It's-
better team and beat themselves,
yeah,
in my
sure.
opinion.
Okay.
Um,
Sure.
in my opinion, but Golden State just won because like we've been here, we know exactly how to do this. You're kind of like
Yeah.
scared right now. You don't know how to move right now, and we're totally comfortable. And
Yeah.
the Celtics, I'm like, we'll see now that you got one on your belt. But it's also one of the most like contentious, like, dude, the road was paved, and
Yeah.
you beat the Mavs fair and square, a pretty good team, but they weren't the team that everyone was expecting to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, and I didn't forget what seed they were even that year. Were they like a 4 seed or something? Anyway, they weren't the number 1 seed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. This year is going to be fun.
I feel like I've had, so on the podcast this year, I've had Pistons fans, I've had Knicks fans, I've had Sixers fans, I've had Celtics fans. Every single one of them feels like they are the one to beat in the East.
I mean, that's the fun thing about the East this year for sure.
It is, and it's like, which is in the West has the advantage, obviously, but like honestly, this is more fun to like have everyone so close and everyone within like fighting reach, whereas the Spurs and the Thunder are like way ahead of everyone else.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how it plays out. It could go really any way. Like obviously the Pistons are kind of pulling away with the number 1 seed, but anyone's got a shot, really.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeding, I'm less
That's
concerned
always more
about.
fun.
I don't want to play Charlotte though. I'll be real. I don't.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, the Knicks, the Pistons scare me a little bit, but I do think in a 7-game series, the Celtics will come out on top. And that's some hubris. Play it back in like, June. Celtics will come back on top. Celtics will come back.
Save this.
Yeah. But, and, I might eat that. But that's just, I don't know. I feel like they match up a little bit better. The Knicks, I think they made some good moves. They got better for sure.
They're steady. They're just kind of riding steady right now.
Yeah, and they figured it out. Like there was a little bit of like, I don't know. I think a little bit of identity stuff going on with just where does everyone fit in here. Made some big moves last year, and like so the Celtics though, I'm like, we got the lineup back of like last year.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, of like, you got Tatum back. You got, I think, a proven group here, a bunch of young, high energy guys who like have now a season of just proving that like, okay, we can go 40-20 on our own.
Yeah.
I
mean, the Hornets and the Sixers are both floating in the play-in area right now.
I think the Sixers do not scare me at all. They're fun to watch.
I think what's crazy though is like nobody ever talks about the Cavs or the Magic, and I feel like especially with the Cavs, like they have this attitude of like we always get disrespected.
Yeah, well, I don't know, dude. Win more, like,
they're the 4 seed right now.
I know, but like I don't like even like a game 7 on their floor wouldn't. I'm like the Celtics got that. They just kind of I don't know what the win-loss record is over the last whatever, but like the Celtics. This is maybe I just made this up, but I'm pretty sure they like beat them at home a lot, or they're close games. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's a couple teams where I'm like, they just kind of have their number, and obviously everything goes out the window come playoff time.
Yeah.
But
I'll be the first to admit. I mean the Celtics definitely are performing way above what I expected, and I'm happy to hear that you knew this. You knew this was going to happen.
Not like, I thought they were going to be somewhere around like 32 and like 20, a little bit above 500. Not like, not approaching the like
Number 2 seed.
Yeah. But I thought we'd be in the mix, and then I was hoping then it would be like a good enough like percentage shot that they're like, all right, let's bring Tatum back, and then all of a sudden it gets interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Well, that's kind of all I got. It's been fun.
Hell yeah, cool.
Kind of fun chatting hoops with you, and congrats on a solid 20 years for Top Shelf. But maybe we'll wait for the 25.
Yeah, let's that's unfortunately what it's gonna have to be. And I'll probably I gotta take like a whole I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, okay, if I start planning and doing little things now, then it'll feel less hard at that point or whatever, I guess. Yeah. Really maybe
for 25 we can do something together in a more official capacity.
I would love that. Yeah, like a little pickup game
Top Shelf basketball tournament.
Uh-huh.
We
could do that. Where are you? Where are you based?
I'm in Chicago.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. No, we could certainly do that. Yeah.
That would be the move. Awesome. All right, well, it's been great talking, man.
Yeah, likewise.
All right. Anything else you want to kind of talk about? Any releases that
No.
approaching?
We don't need to do all that. But I appreciate it. Yeah.
Right.
No, I was just going to say, thanks for having me on. And
of course.
Yeah. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, man. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya. All right, that's going to do it for my conversation with Kevin Duquette from Topshelf Records. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for listening. If you want to help support indie basketball on Patreon, we're at patreon.com/indie basketball. The weather's starting to warm up, and we're starting to look for some half-court sessions again. And supporting on Patreon is a really great way to help make sure we could do some more of those. So if you want to help support in any way, anything, it really means the world to me, and it helps me keep doing what we love to do here. So patreon.com/indie basketball. So thanks everyone who supports. Otherwise, join our Discord community, join the conversation. It's a fun time. Other than that, make sure you follow us on Instagram, on Blue Sky. We are at Indie Basketball. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.